so we did. So we went to Florida. Sorry, I'm going to adjust myself.
You're fine.
My niece.
And you said you were kind of interested to see how it played out from May?
Basically, like, we're talking about like the social dynamic of a circumstance like that, which I think is really like where most people go with that. Mm-hmm. When they hear about polygamy, most individuals will question the social dynamic of such relationship.
Well, keep in mind, he is like cuffed. He's incarcerated in a different county. So he's not necessarily being punished by any of his behavior here, because I mean, he made it clear that they don't really care about those. But he is still not a free man, so he doesn't get to he is trying to just make it pretty clear that like he's being very transparent, like, okay, I'm not doing any funny business back here while I'm talking to you, like I'm just adjust myself, like making it very clear and trying to be extremely transparent, because again, he didn't like swear in the Bible or anything. He just was like, yeah, I will be as transparent as I possibly
what is the social dynamic
absolutely possibly can.
The social dynamic between the women and the women and the men. I mean, you can see these types of shows. There's shows on television now that promote polygamy and
like Sister Wives.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's kind of like to see a first-hand perspective of that, of somebody who's really living like that. I thought was highly interesting. I was very interested in what these women had to say and what they were about.
Okay.
So was Jennifer.
Tell me, you said you're interested to hear what the women had to say and what they were.
Well, yeah, I was just curious how they interacted with each other.
Okay.
You know, so.
From.
Yeah, I think the thing is this is just probably how he is. I think that like even prior to being in this like cult and all that, I think that this is like how he was as a person. Is he was very particular, very specific, and it is kind of nice to see that like it doesn't feel like we're being led any bullshit or confusion.
May of 2020,
but it's not boring either. Like this is a very important. This is someone that was like in a very close, at a certain point, very close relationship. But this is like a close relationship with Z at least, and like had like seen different points of their social dynamic, this like cult thing. So this is like kind of important for the state to establish that she wasn't just like being taken advantage of and like mentally ill, that like she was a contributor to this.
How much time did you spend with Z and the three women from May until December?
Keep in mind that the state is like trying to paint. The state is painting that Chloe killed the baby because she wanted Z for herself. That she wanted to she actually didn't want to be in a polygamous, didn't want to be a part of like a sister wife thing and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Well, there was a lot. I mean, so I went to go see them in May. And then I broke up with Jennifer. I broke it off with Jennifer over the summer. So she actually never saw them again.
Okay.
And then I stayed in Connecticut at Z's parents' house at the Joyce home in Connecticut in September for, I think I was there for about a little over 2 weeks.
Tell me about his parents. What do you know about them?
Oh, I love the Joyces. They're good. Mike Joyce is great. Is a good man. You know, they're essentially, Michelle Joyce is they're very powerful people. Like even, they're like really intelligent. They're highly intelligent people, highly well-spoken about their traditions and values. And they're very warm and open and welcoming folks. Like,
are they, his biological parents, still married?
Yes.
Do you know what they do for a living?
Michelle sells real estate and Mike works at a factory.
Works at a factory?
Like a machine shop.
Okay. So you said you went to Connecticut and you stayed at his parents' house?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So
and
they kind of sold to their people.
How much time did you spend at his parents' house?
Like I said, I was there for a little over 2 weeks, I think.
Okay. Was he there with the 3 women as well?
Kawani and Gamliana were staying there, and Shaylig was there sometimes, but her parents also live in Connecticut, so she was at her parents' some too.
Okay, so Shaylig's parents are from Connecticut as well?
Yeah, they live like, I don't know, it's like 45 minutes down the road in Southbury.
Okay, so Gami and Kawani and Z and you spent time at his parents' house?
We sure did.
While Shaylig spent time with her family?
Yeah, I was sleeping in my van. Again, I had a van that I stayed in.
Okay.
And so I was sleeping in the driveway in the van.
And was it, from your observations, was it common for these women to go spend time with their families outside of their relationship with Z?
I mean, if they wanted to.
Okay.
I don't think, I mean, I didn't really get the feeling that
This is in 2020.
Galliana were very, like, you know, enthusiastic about going to spend time with their parents.
Okay.
And that they loved their husband and they stayed with him.
Okay, but Shaylig wanted to go see her family in Connecticut?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like a matter of convenience too, because they're all like staying at the house, and you know, she went back and forth, you know, so.
Did you ever meet the parents of Shaylig, Gami, or
I've met all these people.
Kawani?
I've met them all.
You met all of their parents?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Tell me the circumstances under which you went into their families' homes.
Let's see. I met Phil and Nancy Kafijian in October of 2020. I have actually stayed with Ben and Sharon Stiles at their home in Connecticut. I stayed there for the better part of a month.
I don't see
Shaylig's parents?
At Shaylig's parents, yes, I sure did. And I've met Eric and Renee Driver on several occasions. I met them for the first time in the summer of 2020. I met Kawani and Z and Eric and Renee Driver at a river in Tennessee, and we spent the day together.
Okay.
That was the first time I met
So
them.
Phil and Nancy Kafijian are
Jessica's parents.
Jessica or
Gamliana.
Gamliana?
Oh, okay.
They try to avoid this.
Matt.
Where do they live?
They live in Virginia Beach.
In Virginia Beach, okay.
Yep.
And then you said that Shaylig's parents live in Connecticut.
Yes, they do in
And
Southbury.
do you know where Eric and Renee Driver, Kawani's parents, live?
In Knoxville, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I've never been to their house,
Okay.
so.
All right.
But I know that she's from Jacksonville originally, but
Okay.
I think they moved
Okay.
to Knoxville.
Okay. And do you know what the order of the women coming into this marriage was? Like
Yes.
who was first?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was Kawani first.
Okay. Do you
And
know
the-
how long she had been with?
Okay, order wives, I guess. This is such a weird way. Chloe.
The, like as of 2020 when you met him?
Yeah.
You've been together?
Gosh.
This is already a good one so far.
Years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who came next?
Jessica Gamliana.
Okay. And how long had she been with him?
I think like Kawani and Z had been together since she was like right when she was 18, and then they met Gami a few months later.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know the answer to these questions
Okay.
exactly.
If you don't know, then
Yeah.
that's fine.
I'm
but
just
if
like
you do know,
telling you what I think it is.
Okay.
It's kind of like I haven't really considered that. I haven't, you know, I'm sure I was told at some point, but I mean, golly, you know.
and for your
Golly.
the last woman to kind of enter the picture,
Shaylig.
Shaylig.
Yes.
And when you met them, do you have any idea how long Shaylig had been in a relationship with Z?
I'm gonna guess like 6 months or something like that.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Yeah, within the year. It would have been within a year.
Okay. Do you still have a relationship with Z?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you know whether Shaylig and Gami are still with him?
Yes, they are.
They are.
They
Okay.
are very much still with him.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's really rough to hear, because, man, if the state, so if we're running on the state assumption is true, that Chloe or Kiana, that Chloe killed her baby and tried to kill her and like stabbed herself in the throat and chest, all in the guise to make Z be monogamous, I guess, in a way, or like she didn't want to do the whole multi-wife cult lifestyle anymore. And like these women are still the other two women are very much still with Z.
So, when we were talking about the sort of the social dynamic of polygamy and sort of your interest in that when you met Z,
Yes.
What did you observe about sort of his treatment of the women or their interaction and treatment toward him? Like, what was that from
I
your
observed a
perspective?
very beautiful, healthy relationship.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
That all, like, they would wake up every morning and talk about feelings, you know, which I thought was really cute.
Talk
And
about feedings?
feelings.
Oh, feelings, okay.
Like, they would wake up every morning, they would be in the hotel, and Z would wake up with these girls, and you know, they'd all wake up and sit around and talk about feelings.
Okay.
And how they felt that day and why they were feeling that way. And he would sit and be patient and kind and caring to them.
Okay.
And treat them the way a wife should be treated, with compassion and patience and love.
Okay.
And even Jennifer and I, we both observed this. Yeah, I was actually a little surprised at the amount, like the absence of like petty argument and jealousy, you know, because you have to kind of expect that. That's what Jen said too. Like, we were like, wow, this is really, like, they really have a healthy thing here.
Mm-hmm.
That they're all interacting with each other. They all share the same type of value for humanness, you know, that like there's a real value here that you don't see in a lot of individuals. Like, most people act solely in self-interest, and that's not what you saw with these girls and their man. And it was really sweet, actually.
Okay.
Like, Z was always, he was being very kind to them, and they all got along. Like, I didn't see, you know, we stayed there for over a week in the van, and
being kind to them all. He would. I'm just going to close Project Zomboid.
you know, we didn't see any bickering, and we were with them all day, every day,
Okay.
like this whole time.
And that was
you know,
the week
so
you spent with them in Florida in May of 2020?
That's right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When you left Florida, I asked you sort of the broad question of how much time you spent with them between May of 2020 and December of 2020.
Sure.
But after that week in May, when did you later spend chunks of time with them and where?
Well, like I said, I met up with Z and Kawani and her parents at a river in Tennessee.
Do you know when that was?
Gosh, sometime in the summer of 2020. I actually cannot remember exactly when that was.
Okay.
And then I stayed with Z. I stayed in his parents' driveway for a few weeks in September. Then I went back home, and then I came to Virginia Beach in the middle of October, And I stayed there for about 3 weeks with Z and Kawani, and Gamliana too. Sarah Shalig was in Connecticut at that time with her parents.
Okay, so in October, you spent 3 weeks in Virginia. Shaylig was with her parents.
That's right.
And Kuwani and Gami and you and Z were together in Virginia?
That's right.
Okay. I want to get signed back into this.
I mean, like, he's trying to paint a timeline, so I get it.
I want to show you, may I approach the witness? Yes. Let me show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 84. Do you recognize who this person is?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Gami.
Okay. Does this accurately reflect the person you know?
That
you've been
is
referring to,
that
Gami?
is Jessica Kafijian Gamliana, who prefers to be called Anna now, and I told her the name change has been a little difficult for me.
All right. Your Honor, this time I'm going to tender State's 84.
Okay.
States 84 is admitted.
Keep in mind that there's also like lunch in here. Keep in mind there's a good chunk.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll get there.
All right. So this is
That
Gami.
that is Jessica Kafijian Gamliana.
Okay. Do you know how old she is compared to Kuwani?
Jessica's birthday is June 3rd, 1988.
June 3rd, 1988.
That's right.
Okay. So she's older.
46?
This is State's Exhibit 85.
36?
Do you know who this is?
36.
Yeah, that's Shaylee. That's Sarah Stiles.
Okay.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would tender State's 85.
It's admitted.
And this is, how old is she?
Shaylee was born February the 8th, 1997.
February 8th, 1997.
Okay, so she's younger than me.
How do
She's
you know all these birthdays?
27.
Is that something that's
I have a
important?
partially photogenic memory.
Okay. Would that be information that you seek out about people that you care about, or that
No,
you?
I don't even try to remember.
Okay, you just remember it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the nature of my mind.
Are these two pictures the scene? That you
Okay, that's a
remember
little wild to say.
December of the 8th of 2020, being at that residence.
Yeah, and keep in mind that the guy that Chloe is only 24. Like, and keep in mind that Chloe is the only one on trial for this stuff because she's the only one that's murdered somebody. What so far, what has been brought up in court has really not been anything illegal that's been going on, minus Chloe killing her daughter. And Chloe's 24 right now, right? This is age Chloe Driver, 24. But she's trying to do the insanity plea.
Oh my gosh, that is the inside of Jerry's house, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, I don't know the inside. I was gonna say, because I see the picture of Shaylee there, and I'm like, wow, that's really messy. Like, because they never kept a messy place, you know. But Jerry does.
Okay.
So I see that there. That is the inside, because like you see all the dirt and like just like it's kind of nasty looking. I was just like, where was this picture taken? Like, because they do not keep an unclean house like that.
Okay.
You know, so, but Jerry definitely does. Jerry's kind of a slob, self-admittedly on his part. So I'm not trying to,
Okay.
he'll admit that.
All
so.
right. Tell me a little bit about that. You said that they keep a clean environment. In terms of sort of the dynamics of the group when you were with them, did they have any viewpoints about like diet or like health in terms of?
Oh yes, very much. That's like a part of the way that they live, and it's part of the way that I live too.
Okay. And what were sort of were you all like?
Man, there's part of me that like, I guess this will pan out and see how this all goes, and maybe we'll do some more research into like this Jason Spiller's character and stuff, because I think it'd be interesting to see like if they had like things about diet and stuff. That's what intrigues me.
Yes, very much.
I'm really
That's
hoping
one of the things that,
really hoping to find out more
I
about
liked
that.
about Z immediately was that the way that he cared for himself and the way that he cared for his women.
What do you mean by that?
First of all, like there's like a standard of purity. You know, I've been on and off vegetarian for most of my life. I met them and they're vegans.
Okay.
They eat no processed sugar. They eat extremely healthy, like no vegan. And the reason why they don't eat animal products is because of the inhumane treatment of animals. You know, so it's like, it's viewed as like an innocent life. So you have an innocent life in this animal, and Z feels that, you know, we are not immediately.
Health in terms of.
Oh yes, very much. That's like a part of the way that they live, and it's part of the way that I live too.
Okay. And what were sort of were you all like-minded in that way?
Yes, very much. And that's one of the things that that I liked about Z immediately was that the way that he cared for himself and the way that he cared for his women.
What do you mean by that?
First of all, like there's like a standard of purity. You know, I've been on and off vegetarian for most of my life. I met them and they're vegans.
Okay.
They eat no processed sugar. They eat extremely healthy, like no vegan. And the reason why they don't eat animal products is because of the inhumane treatment of animals. You know, so it's like, it's viewed as like an innocent
Which is
life.
fair. That's.
So you have an innocent life in this animal, and
I mean, I don't always necessarily agree with things like this when it comes to the vegan stuff, but like, you know, I get it. People have their reasons for not eating meat. I get that. That's not why we're here.
He feels that, you know, we are not entitled to take that life. And that was actually something that I picked up from Z, because before I had just been a vegetarian for my own health purposes. But then he told me about his reasoning for veganism, and I agree with him. You know, it's like one of the things that, you know, I met Z, and when I went down to visit them in Florida, I hadn't been a vegetarian for a very long time, like 2 years. It had been 2 years that I'd been on a meat-eating diet, and I got back around them, and I was influenced in a positive way, I would say, by being around them and being around their health again. And so I immediately went back to vegetarianism, and I've been a vegetarian ever since.
Okay.
Back to my routine. And Jen did it with me too.
Okay.
For the remaining time that she was with me.
All right.
Like we immediately switched back to vegetarianism.
Was everybody
Hi,
during the time
Sam.
you spent with him between May of 2020 and beyond? Was everybody a strict vegan?
Yes.
Okay.
And they also used like no drugs or alcohol whatsoever.
Okay.
Which
And
is
what was the reason for that?
because it's like toxic.
Okay.
And because it's like it dilutes your mind and your ability to process and be your most pure and able self.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were there any viewpoints surrounding like water, or what kind of water they could?
Yeah, it is.
What do you mean?
It is.
Just did they have any rules about what water they drank?
I don't know that I can speak to that specifically. I mean, I know that, but I will say that reverse osmosis water, I know that Z drinks reverse osmosis water, and so do I.
Okay.
I've been filtering my water reverse osmosis for the past 20 years.
Okay.
Because, you know, you'd like to get there's a lot of particulates in the water, especially, you know, you get the water out of the sink, out of the tap here, it's full of chemicals and fluoride and chlorine and things that are heavy metals that are unhealthy for your brain and body,
Okay.
that should really be avoided at all costs by.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Give me a second.
You're listening to an Ono. According to her closest friends, she saw her.
Okay, no, it's just this.
Everyone, but like I say, very few individuals take the time to care for themselves at this like level of impeccability, and so that's something that I respected about them very much and attracted me to become closer and better friends with them.
Okay. From your perspective, was the observation of these practices something that was inherent in them or something that required discipline from them?
No, definitely not. Like, Kawani was the one who was, like, giving me a hard time about eating meat when I was in. She's the one who's like, you know, she's like, you just don't care about the animals, do you? And I'm like, she's like, maybe you're just an asshole. And I was like, maybe I
She
am.
said maybe you were just an asshole?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're talking about
Kawani, the woman who's sitting right there.
Okay.
And I said, maybe I am, you know, and maybe I should stop eating meat because of this reason, not for my own health purposes.
Okay.
You know, because of the taking of life and because, you know, it's better to live that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, maybe you're right, young lady, you know, like I see where you're coming from. And so I actually went back to vegetarianism then.
Was she expressive in communicating about sort of her belief system of subscribing to these practices?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like it was like forced.
Okay.
You know, it's like, it's pretty logical, really. You know,
Okay.
it's like, and it's like, I mean, it makes sense. It's like, this is impeccability. This is taking care of yourself in the highest regard. This is eliminating toxic waste from your body. This is
Okay.
It's clean.
Cover your face. Enjoy. Sleep well. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Pure, without drugs and alcohol of any type, including caffeine.
Okay.
You know, no nicotine, no alcohol of any type. They don't drink at all.
Okay.
You know, so it's like, it's really rare to find that level of commitment of care to yourself.
Okay.
And
Yes, go to bed. I mean,
You know, they were like,
I got like 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe.
because it makes sense and you feel better and you feel healthier and you're like
So you're not going to miss a whole lot.
representing something
Okay.
that is separate
Maybe for a little bit
from
longer.
the regular world of toxicity and negligence to one's own well-being.
Okay.
I'm taking another hit.
That during your, I've used kind of December of 2020 as like a date just because of the incident that we're here for, but
Yeah, we'll get there.
how long did you spend time with the group even beyond that date?
Oh gosh, I'm still friends with Z now. I was in
Okay.
Shayla's parents' house for a month in March of earlier this year. Like,
Okay. So the last 4 years,
I've
you've
been-
maintained constant communication and contact
most
and friendship
definitely,
with them? Okay.
most definitely, and we've all been very hurt by this, and we've, you know,
Okay.
worked through this.
GTD. Huh? Down to dab? Working right now.
Together. And
I figured it out. It took me a second.
So you
Cheers.
mentioned that they didn't drink any.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. I gotta finish this bowl. I still got weed on the tray.
Illicit drugs or just all drugs? What do you mean by the term drugs?
Anything that is psychotropic in nature.
Okay.
Anything that's like no pharmaceuticals, no alcohol, no drugs of any kind.
Okay.
What do you mean? What drugs are there? What?
I guess what I'm going to get into is sort of like modern medicine or treatment of ailments or like healing practices. Like, did they have
You mentioned magic mushrooms.
traditional worldview of like the exercise of medicine?
Yeah, none of these girls really had very many ailments.
Okay.
So, you know, I know, but you mean like ibuprofen?
Sure.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah. I prescribe to these systems myself. Like, I don't
Okay.
take those kinds of drugs either.
All right. And was the whole group sort of like-minded in that way?
They're all for it, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So were there sort of healing practices or things that you all did for your bodies that were not traditional?
I mean, like what?
Like drinking your own urine?
Sure.
Okay.
I've been drinking my urine daily for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you tell me, like, obviously that's not traditional enough.
Well, it was. In the
People are
past.
like, all right, I'm going to bed. And then we get to, yeah, I've been drinking my own urine for 20 years. Oh, I'm so glad we listened a little further.
Past, when people understood their bodies, now they've become so deranged and essentially live in a psychotic society with an addiction to alcohol and toxic food that we have become so diluted and separate from what it means to be healthy on the deepest and most fundamental cellular levels, though we would, describe an attempt to achieve homeostasis in the body. Yeah, so urine therapy is non-traditional in
Urine therapy?
Our deranged society, toxic society, but it's actually written about by medical doctors. It's written about by people all over the world. There's if you go online and look up urine therapy, there's 15 books available written by allopathic medicine doctors, homeopathic medicine doctors, written by shamans and gurus from the East, written about by regular everyday people who have healed themselves, who claim to have healed themselves of things such as cancer by drinking their urine.
Okay.
And it tells all about, if you want to do your research, urine is from the word orin, meaning light. And basically it's like when you go to an oncologist and they take a urine sample instead of a blood sample, that's because the urine is more telling of the malfunctions in your body. And so allopathic, homeopathic, and people from all types of different natures write about the photonic realignment of your DNA.
Oh, what?
Therapy. So urine has discarded nutrients bladder and are now contained within orin.
That is okay. Can we? Well, how do we get from veganism to urine therapy? To urine therapy curing cancer and DNA realignment. Huh?
Light production of your body, and it needs to be understood, and this is just very common programming in the world, that urine is waste, and it's literally an antiseptic. It's the opposite of waste. Your stool is your waste. Your urine is an antiseptic. It's a true sterilant, and it's antibacterial. That's why Boy Scouts 101, when you have an injury or you have a snake bite or a jellyfish sting or something like that, and you use your urine to sterilize and to act as an antiseptic and act as an antibacterial immediately on open wounds in the flesh. So you could think about this as the same type of thing is happening inside of your body. We're talking about antibacterial,
How long have you been engaging in that practice as do you consider it a healing practice or a health routine?
Well, to me, it was a healing practice at first, and I would say that the first year, it took me probably 6 months to a year, but actually I would say maybe a little less than that. I think for some...
Wait, so if you just if you drink your own piss, right, and then you piss again, and then drink that piss, how much of it is water? Right? Because at a certain point, you're just drinking piss. How much of it is actually okay for you to keep intaking if your body is putting it out, flushing it out? That's kind of the whole concept of piss and shit, poop and pee. Is literally that it's parts of that your body can't break down any further. And that's fine, but that's what I'm saying is after that one time, how much of it is just piss? How much of it is actually productive, and how much of it is just piss? How much is it just excrement because your body couldn't intake it? If it comes out a second time without any other things in your body, it's just water. Wait, so your body, or okay? I was gonna say. Okay, so yeah, okay, so you're good to that the one time rule makes sense. That makes some kind of sense because there probably would be some nutrients that your body wouldn't intake that you could probably get again, and it would be okay to drink your piss once. But I don't think there's a benefit to it. I couldn't understand a benefit. But yeah, after a second, it's just piss. Okay, all right.
Individuals, they would probably,
Question answered, though.
Practice for at least a year, but I was considerably healthier and
Dude, that's wild.
more fit. individual.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been filtering my water, all the fluoride and chlorine out of my water for like 20 years.
I thought he was about to say, I've been filtering drinking my piss. I've been filtering it down to water and then drinking it. When you have no water, yeah. Yes, well, yeah, to live, of course, it's understandable to drink your piss.
I was in high school.
Okay.
You know, like I started these practices very young. I just realized that, you know, it's like, would you like to have toxic waste and heavy metals in your water, or should we filter these out? You know, I mean, it doesn't really take a genius to figure this out. Like, we should be taking these steps.
He's been beyond the pale for over 2 decades. That's the problem with this guy.
And not only heal ourselves, but as a health practice.
He's been off the
So I
beaten
think
path.
For the average individual, I think their first year of urine therapy would be more of like a healing, but I use it to maintain my body still to this day.
And did you start your therapy practice before you met Z?
No, actually, but I didn't learn about it from Z. I learned about it from Peggy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I started drinking my urine, and after about a month, I was Z never even mentioned that.
Okay.
But after I had been drinking my urine for about a month or something, I was like mentioning it to Z.
Dude, why are we still? We have talked about far more than I expected about urine therapy.
He's like, yeah, we do that too.
Okay.
You know, so I actually know a couple dozen individuals who drink their urine regularly.
A couple dozen. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Please.
as far as Z and
Please point them out to me so I can stay the fuck away from them. I'm good.
And Gami, did they all participate in your?
Not saying it's gonna hurt you, but that just makes me feel like you're into some weird things. I'm just gonna say it.
As far as I know.
You're not in the desert.
Did you ever know of anybody forced to participate in that practice?
No, I didn't, actually. All the individuals that I've met, or it's kind of like one of those things, it's like, oh, I didn't even know about that. You know, like I didn't know until Peggy told me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started doing my research online, and it turns out there's a lot more people that do it than, like, there's this guy who I really respect online. His name's Troy Casey. He's the certified health nut. He's like an influencer on Instagram. And so he and like several other individuals, they really promote like urine therapy. They do it all the time.
Bro, this guy? This guy? Oh my god. This guy, dude. That doesn't look healthy.
You know, so it's like
What the fuck?
than you know you would think, and unless you know about it, and then you hear about it, and it's like, oh, this is a lot more mainstream than I thought.
He does look like dude, it looks like he's trying to be a merman, but he never got his fins. He's like, if I get ripped, maybe they'll give me fins finally. Maybe I can be part fish, part man.
You already kind of spoke
If I live the right life, and I can live in the water. I can be one with the fish.
about
He put down the wrong number.
sort of groups' collective views on
I forgot the zip code.
medicine or traditional medicine.
Sure.
Were there any other types of healing practices to either like center themselves or strengthen their mind or their body that you were aware of?
Gosh, I mean, I personally use all kinds of, like, I use Rife machines. I've watched people have miraculous healings from Rife machines.
And what is that?
A Rife machine is a frequency generator developed by Royal Raymond Rife in the early 1930s at the University of San Diego, Southern California. And this man found that, and you can do your research on this, anybody who's interested, this man found that when exposed to certain, that everything has a frequency and vibration, because that's the nature of reality. It's just an atomic structure. And so to understand the fundamentals of science, which we're all taught in school, but it just doesn't seem to sink in to a lot of people, you know, that everything that we're experiencing right now, the air is mostly nitrogen and the matter's it's mostly carbon. So we have a atomic pixelated holograph reality, and these things have been written about from, you know, the 1927.
I'm sorry, my brain was still back at Rife Machine. There's a lot that got returned to sender on this guy.
That's the nature of reality. It's just that use all kinds of, like, I use Rife machines. I've watched people have miraculous healings from Rife machines.
And what is that?
A Rife machine is a frequency generator developed by Royal Raymond Rife in the early 1900s.
Wait. Shortwave. So shortwave frequencies like this would be the tens unit and ultrasounds.
1930s at the University.
Okay, interesting.
And this man found that, and you can do your research on this.
That's weird in a wellness sense.
This man found that when exposed to certain that everything has a frequency and vibration, because that's the nature of reality. It's just an atomic structure. And so to understand the fundamentals of science, which we're all taught in school, but it just doesn't seem to sink in to a lot of people, you know, that everything that we're experiencing right now, the air is mostly nitrogen and the matter's it's mostly carbon. So we have a atomic pixelated holograph reality, and these things have been written about from, you know, the 1927 Solvay Convention in Physics and beyond, even to Michael Talbot and Carl Sagan, who write about the nature of reality. And so
Oh no, not Carl
everything
Sagan.
has a frequency and vibration, including illnesses inside of the body. And so
Oh,
this man,
yeah.
Raymond Rife, was able to find that
There we
these
go.
illnesses, specifically tumors. And
Dude, I was sitting here and I looked it up for a second, and it was like a wellness center, and I'm like, this feels a little weird. Where is this feel? Why does this feel off? Now I see. Here's where it is that they're using like electro frequencies to cure things like cancer. Oh my god. Okay, I have to, hold on. I have to take note of this. What the? Sorry, my brain was like lagging, trying to figure out what the fuck he was talking about. Rife machine. All right, that's something for us to fucking look
things
into.
like MS and certain other illnesses have a certain vibrational frequency, and when exposed to certain frequencies, now we're talking about particles and waves, which is, you know, another foundational cornerstone of science, of the understanding of science, quantum physics, and reality. When you have the particulate matter of a tumor inside of your body, it may be exposed to the wavelengths of certain frequency vibrations, and it destroys tumors. I've watched some pretty miraculous healings. People being on their deathbed to walking around cancer-free.
Were those things?
Okay, I have to. Okay, so this is at 1 hour. I'll start at 45. Okay, okay. I'm now realizing this is where we have to pick up tomorrow, because we're gonna get too lost in the sauce and it's gonna get too wild. Doesn't mean I'm ending this second or anything. I fear that if we continued going deeper, that we're gonna be stuck here for another like 2 hours, and I can't do that today. I mean, we'll just have to do a longer stream tomorrow. We'll go through his shit and hopefully more of the rest of the day. And then Saturday we'll have to play catch up too. Who wants to smoke? Real quick?
Look, I give it to you raw.
Do you know something? This is the best work. You've never seen you do anything right.
Now, a test cut to determine the groove width.
When you put it in your fucking CD player, I said don't never skip a beat, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Fuck about nothing y'all niggas do.
This is the one that's been stuck in my, one of the ones that's been stuck in my head lately. What's Tailspin doing? You on break right now? Yeah. I was like, why is her chat? Why is Goose and Clover doing like word? Word? No, I remember now. I forgot she does like words with chat on her BRBs.
Turn me up some.
It's fine. We'll pick up on the court case tomorrow. What are people doing tonight? Should I do on League? Yep. Should I do on League? Of course. Dude, why is... Her character on Ranch Sim is caked up. What the hell? What the hell? Dude, I'm gonna send you guys over to Sailor, because Sailor's an actual streamer. She's been fucking live 8 hours. Caked up from running around for 8 hours. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow night after work. When I get home, I'll go live. Then we can get back into the court case. We'll get back into this kooky testimony. Quick little cheers before we go. Make sure you guys get plenty of sleep, drink plenty of water, eat something. Be back here tomorrow. We should roll through this a lot faster. I think this Jason one's gonna be the longest. Test play. It's gonna be the best one. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a whole nother fucking video idea out of just what this guy's talking about. Here's love your face too. Go have fun with Sailor. Go say hi. Go tell her she's looking awfully caked up today. Fuck! Just get everybody a new lighter tomorrow. Fuck. Alright, cheers. Alright, have a good one.